Aspen Waite Radio.
So we are here at the Aspen Waite Lions locker room, and I'm delighted to be joined by former Lion Andy Powell. Andy, thank you so much for coming and having a chat with me. We were speaking to the guys earlier about the test today, but I want to ask you a little bit about the business side. Obviously, you've had an amazing career, transitioning into retirement and taking on business. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I never thought the day would come, retiring. It was tough, very tough indeed. And I think what everybody's doing now for these players who are retiring, it's massive. Mental health is a massive part of the world now, and in any sport, not just in sport, I think in normal terms of life. And it's very important. And I did struggle, but I finally got myself back on my feet. I've got 2 kids to look after now, so the purpose of life is a lot more, and you have to look after them and get them to have the life what I had. So apart from that, it's very good.
And I heard you earlier previewing the Lions test, and you mentioned some characteristics: determination, passion, hard work, all principles that I suppose lend themselves really well to business. In that transition from being a sportsman to a businessman, have you taken some of those skill sets, and do you think they've served you well as you've been finding your feet?
No, 100%. It's very important for you. I think what I learned in rugby has made me the person now. And yeah, I think if you ask all these kids growing up playing rugby, they learn that, they take it forward, and that's what makes them at the end of the day. And it's vital for them. And not just rugby, I think any sport. And yeah, it's very good for them.
One of the things that I've always found, having played sport and going into, is communication. And we're here at the locker room today. We're in a tent all together, physically networking and so on. How important are those communication skills, and how important is it to get people back together again after what has been such a brutal 18 months from a mental health point of view, from a business point of view, social, you name it? It's good to be back together again.
It is good to be back, and I think getting back to normality is a big thing. I think a lot of people don't want to get outside the house because they're not used to seeing faces like they did, and it's big pressure on them. And yeah, we're finally getting there. Just hope now we can stay where we are and improve and get out this little bubble and move on and get back to normality.
And here at Aspen Waite, we always like to try and be friends in business. And you mentioned it earlier on about not necessarily knowing all the answers to everything. You have to find your feet. How important is it to know that in the business community as well, if you don't know the answer to a question, there will be people to help you and give you a little bit of guidance, and there's no kind of harm in reaching out and asking when you need help?
I used to get all the wrong answers wrong in life, and I always kept on putting my hand at getting a question wrong. But, that's the passion I was, and, you learn then in the end. And if you get the question wrong, doesn't matter. Somebody else will help you along the way, and that's what's good about everything in life, the community and people, the passion, looking after you.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and have a great day today.
Thank you very much.
Aspen Waite Radio.